separates you from a lot of, hack writers. I really enjoy reading your prose and your.
That's a great compliment, especially from you.
Well,
thank you, thank you. It's been a strange writing life. It really has, and I'm grateful for every dime of overtime I ever made writing for people, or working as a secretary overtime, which paid all those uninsured brain tumor bills for all those years. I would never have made it without the ghostwriting, and I would never have made it without the secretarial part of it. So both of those were dreadfully important. There was some translation involved, fortunately, in the secretarial part of it. I was a biotech patent secretary for an international patent law firm, and it was really the best in the West, and I was privileged to work there, so that was really fun. I got to speak with inventors from other countries who otherwise would have felt completely out of water in English, and I was able to revise for them what they needed to publish, so that they could have a chance to get it published, whereas they were absolutely the brightest of the brightest, but their English wouldn't be good enough to do it.
Right.
So that was fun to be a bit of an editor there. That was a great privilege too.
Well, editor and facilitator.
Facilitator, yes.
Editing is one thing, but the result of your editing is that something can happen and move
that was
forward.
The point, not just
open doors for people as opposed to just being a job.
It did. It gave some of them a better chance than they would have had.
Way more significant use of your time than just
I think so.
An assignment.
So. Yeah, I enjoyed it very much. It was very. I was lucky to have that job where I was able to do that, fortunately. And I did meet interesting people, particularly visiting lawyers. There were cases being tried in France and here where there were companies involved between the two countries, let's say. So that was fairly tricky. Multinational things, and I worked a lot of overtime for one attorney in particular who had a lot of those cases, so that was really interesting. And once, if you'd like a funny story, a true and funny story of law firm life.
Okay,
You're not out of film yet?
No.
Okay. Long ago when I was 19, I had the privilege of interpreting for the former president of France, Pierre Mendès France, when he came to Portland, Oregon to deliver a lecture at Portland State, what was then college, in economics. He was doctor of economics in addition to having been president of France.
Now say his name again slowly.
Pierre Mendès France.
Okay.
Monsieur Pierre Mendès France. So that was that. So that was pretty helpful to my resume. Lucky me.
Yes.
He didn't need me at all. His English was just fine, but nonetheless, I got to keep the title. And I got the job because I could pick him up at the airport in a stick shift Renault. That was truly. My father said, "You got that job because I taught you to drive a stick shift." Well, that's probably true. Anyway, I did. So I did that. So that was very good on resumes when I applied for jobs as a legal secretary with foreign language ability. Mm-hmm. And the firms I worked for all needed that. I worked for 3 in succession over 40 years, and they did need that. So one day there came an attorney visiting from Paris who was the daughter-in-law of one of the partners at a firm where I worked. And he said, "Would you please, try to make her feel comfortable and, go talk to her. English is fine, but she's wandering around the halls wondering where she is,
Where's the bathroom?
So where's the bathroom? So we did. Hi. So she... So I talked to her, and I thought, well, I've got to fill 10 minutes with something. So I said, I once had the privilege of interpreting for Pierre Mendès France. And I took him to the art museum in Portland, where they had one Monet, of which they were very proud. And I had to introduce him to the president of the Ladies' Auxiliary. So I started to say, "Madam, may I present to you?" She, of course, didn't speak French. And I was about to say, "Monsieur Pierre Mendès France, le président de la France." And she said, "Oh, Mr. de Gaulle, I've always wanted to meet you." Well, little diplomatic incident there. So the attorney to whom I'm speaking laughs her head off and says, "Oh, that's amazing. His widow, Mrs. Mendès France, is my parents' best friend, and we have dinner every Sunday night. I'll have to ask her if she knows the story." And I thought, oh no, maybe her husband never told her that he was mistaken for 7-foot Charles de Gaulle, Montespan having been about 5 feet tall and the exact opposite of pomposity, the exact opposite politically. Well, the attorney goes home and they have dinner, and she tells the story to Mrs. Montespan, who had never heard it, who laughed so hard she hyperventilated and knocked over her champagne. So that was my great moment there.
Nice one.
Foreign languages can be useful, you know.
Yes, yes. Well, Dana, we should probably wrap it up there.
I know, I'm babbling forever, but it's been such fun.
It's been such fun.
It has been such
Such great
fun.
stories. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for sharing.
Thank you
your
for
memories
asking.
of Mom
I'm so glad about that. I wish I had more memories to share of your mom. I think of her often.
well, you have plenty of your own. So.
Well, lucky me, yeah. I've
And
known
let me
interesting
just wrap this up by urging anybody who's watching this to check out your writing.
Thank you. Well, they're free to do it by all
And
means. You can
enjoy
buy
it.
50 copies of my book by tomorrow morning.
Very good, very good. Hopefully there will be some mailbox money in the future for
Oh, good. Royalties. Num num.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.